Embracing the football scene on the Rock of Gibraltar with Adam Roberts and Steve Brown.
Well, we are back on the Gibraltar Footie show. Withdrawal symptoms big time, and it's been, well, I believe it's been about 3 weeks, not 3 weeks, 3 months since I caught up with my good friend Adam Roberts. How are you doing, Adam?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad. What's your winter been like? Boring?
Well, cold. I'd say that it's been absolutely freezing over here. But I think once we got the season back up and running, it's been a very, very good and busy few months.
Yeah, well, I've been checking up on the league situation since it started back after the Christmas break, and it's been quite entertaining, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've had some good games, both in Premier, and obviously everyone knows about the whole Angels fiasco in the second division. So far this year, it looks like the second division is going to be a lot more interesting.
Certainly is, and we're going to be chatting about that later on during the course of the show. We're also going to be catching up. I wanted to catch up with the under-16s. I know that they've been away in Malta playing a couple of games. We've got the quarter-final draw, which took place as well with the Rock Cup, so that's interesting stuff to cover. And, of course, we've got the full internationals and the under-21 internationals, which take place the last weekend of March, I believe.
Yeah, they've finally we've got the internationals back in Gibraltar, and games again. I think it was Russia and I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah, they've got the I think it's Serbia and Russia for under-21s and Latvia for the full international on the Sunday evening.
Yeah, it's going to be two. Obviously, the under 21 games are going to be not very difficult. I think I think they got beat quite heavily against Serbia in the first game, and I think the Russia one was about 2-3-0. So it's going to be difficult for our youngsters. I think we all knew that going into it, but I think everyone's just happy that we're able to watch international games in our home.
Exactly. How's Victoria Stadium looking at the moment? Is it just the pitch which has been gone through the renovations, or is there other aspects which have taken place?
Right now it's just the pitch, and credit to the GFA, it looks really decent. It looks like it's got like a nice bright colour to it. It doesn't look as dark as the old one did. So right now it's just the pitch that's been done, but there is a lot of talk of other things being done to it. But so far it's just the pitch for now.
But as you say, to get international football back where it belongs at Victoria Stadium, that's certainly a step in the right direction.
Yeah, everyone really wants to. Everyone's really been wanting it since we weren't allowed. Obviously, I think it was after the Lincoln win over Celtic, we haven't played a European game at home. So when you speak to, when everyone does their player interviews, and we spoke to Roy, we spoke to Graham, and they've all said that us being that 12th man on the pitch is going to do us wonders, and
it's priceless.
I think we'll see that when we have the Nations League in September. Yeah,
it is priceless to have the as you say, the 12th man back at Victoria Stadium, create this kind of animosity, this cauldron atmosphere, and it certainly can help the team, as we saw against with Imps and Celtic.
Yeah, the last two campaigns in Europe, we've been it's been quite decent. Like I think we beat Punic, Europa beat Punic, Lincoln beat Red Imps, and I think Lincoln beat Santa Coloma as well. I'm not too sure on that one. But over the last few years, we've seen that not on the European stage here we are very good, and it should be good to see how we fare on an international level.
Certainly helps. Well, where do you want to start, sir? Because it's been 3 months. We've missed it. I've missed you. Have you missed me?
Yeah, I've missed this, man. It's been my Wednesdays haven't been as good as they used to be.
Yeah, I bet you say that to all the boys. Hey, but I want to catch up on something first of all. I'm going to pull your leg a little bit. You're turning into a bit of a film star. What's this with?
What's this? It was only a matter of time, man.
Yeah, only a matter of time. Yeah, what's this about? Follow me, because you're telling me you've been away and you didn't have a chance to see it, but it's gone down really well, and fantastic production between yourself and Colin Pons from GBC, but it was much needed. It had to happen, and it was good.
Yeah, it was just I can't remember when, but he just messaged me one day. He told me it was through he got through to me by the people in Gib Football Talk.
Yeah,
because they're obviously they're older than us, and they more known from the people who kind of do these productions and stuff. And obviously then they're not covering as much as we are at the moment, and whoever it was put Colin in contact with us. And since then we had a chat. We organised a day that we were both able to do it. Credit to him, it was on a Saturday. I think many people out there would have preferred to do it Monday to Friday at work, but he took a day from his weekend or a day from his days off and followed me down to the stadium. And it was difficult, not difficult, but it was different to what
it's certainly
I was
not.
used to.
I'm going to say it's certainly, you're not used to being in front of the camera. You're used to being behind it or behind a keyboard.
Yeah. I'm getting used to this whole, being interviewed instead of doing the actual interviews. But it was just different. I'm not really used to stuff like that. Where it was more of he was kind of saying that it was going to be more of a movie setting. So we were walking to the stadium. We did a few takes of that and a few takes of walking up the steps. A few retakes of walking on the pitch and stuff. So obviously, because he said he wanted to be like this kind of movie setting to it.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite got round to watching it, but
it's fantastic.
It was very good. So
yeah, it was very good, and I've got to give credit, good credit to Colin. He captured the atmosphere of Gibraltar football perfectly, and I'd like to see more of that. I've put a couple of comments up, and I'll keep putting comments up until someone at GBC starts listening, because there's certainly a market for it, as we know. And it needs to have more coverage as far as I'm concerned. It'd be great to have your own little show, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we have. The only thing really we have at the moment is Sports Report. But again, that's covering all sports, so football really doesn't get around as much as it should do, because we know that there's football every weekend. But stuff like GBC, they maybe speak about it once a month. You look at the Chronicle, and the Chronicle's just a paper at the end of the day, and again they're a bit late on their news and stuff, because obviously they've got other sports get as much attention as football does. So right now I think, like you said, there's a market, and I think us as Football Gibraltar really need to get stuck in.
Yeah, certainly a market. I picked up on one of the points you made in regards to the possibilities of a magazine. Is that something you and the guys at Football Gibraltar have spoke about?
To be totally honest with you, it was just something that I thought about the night before. We were having a chat, and it was one of the questions, because obviously he showed me the questions before he told me them. And the magazine is something that I like the idea of, but one thing that I want to get done 100% is an app. I think the way that apps are created, you look at all these football apps online, and just to be able to direct all our traffic through an app would be something
perfect.
That is a dream right now, really.
Certainly would. Well, just moving on to the action, just looking at the league. We'll start into second division, because it's been pretty good for Fraser's Olympic, hasn't it? It's been a good start after Christmas for them.
Yeah, they've picked up some good wins. I know they reinforced quite heavily in the January. They brought in Ian Rodriguez, or Dude as he's known to the rest of us. He brings some Premier experience. It's just been Premier experience. We all know about Kalen Rumbo. Again, he's one that has played in Premier for the last few seasons. And of course, I don't think probably one of the signings of the season was is one of the Casiaro brothers, Kyle Casiaro, coming out of retirement and signing on loan till the end of the season.
And what a fantastic strike! What a fantastic strike a few weeks ago as well.
Bloody hell! I told him after the game that he can't be doing that in second division, man. That's that's illegal.
That was just rolling back the experience there, weren't it? Because it was just one of them snapshots. You know, you're on autopilot and you see ball coming to you, you just hit it clean as a whistle, and keeper were diving, the ball had already passed him. But that's what you're paying for. That's what hopefully Lewis has brought him in for that experience in the team.
Yeah, and to score goals when it's needed and stuff like that. But funnily enough, it was. I don't know if there's a video we can see, but just before he got the strike, all the Europa Point players had got distracted because there was a confrontation in the middle of the pitch, and instead of Europa Point playing to the whistle, all the players ran towards the confrontation. And if you look back at the video, I think it left quite a big they left quite a big gap in defence, and that's, I think, and your Olympic punished them, and then when it went on to the penalty shootouts, the bloody goalkeeper Jordan Perez, man, scoring a penalty was ridiculous, man. I questioned it. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking it was a bit crazy going in for a penalty, but no excuses, man. He made sure the keeper wasn't getting anywhere near that one.
Yeah. Before we look at some of the other teams, I know Cannons and Boca as well in there, just behind Olympic at the moment. What's happened? What's been happening with Angels? I know that it's their licence has been revoked. What was the reasons behind that?
From what I spoke to a source inside the club, and they were saying one of the directors had to put his squad into Comet, and the Comet is something which the GFA used. They put all their players in there. You put your match day team sheets and all of that stuff. And basically, one of the Angels directors, and I don't know if he left it last minute or didn't know what he was doing, but filled out the squad incorrectly. Didn't put enough information. Midnight had passed on the end of the transfer window, and not enough players, not enough. He didn't have a big enough squad. I don't think he put in enough players, and GFA had no. Yeah. And GFA just said, "Look, you can't do this," and the license is revoked. And I think they can go back in next season, but it should be interesting how you get back. You get back from here.
Yeah, but looking at the players, looking at the squad that Angels had, there was some quality in that squad. Have they moved on to other clubs?
Not from what I've seen. I've heard that people have signed a few players from Angels, but I think the way they was worked, I think it was just left too last minute for the teams to be able to actually buy anyone. So I don't think anyone from Angels really expected this to happen. You know what I mean? I don't think the players had time to really think, "Oh, let's go get us another team because this isn't working out."
No,
they just left it, and they just left it last minute. The players weren't able to find somewhere with enough time, and now I think they're just sitting at home waiting until next season.
Yeah, is the transfer window not open at all? Is there a loan window that they can kind of activate?
From what I know, the only way transfers can happen right now is if the previous player was on a professional contract.
Right.
That's the only way transfers can happen right now.
Which is a bit of a shame, really, because if you've got players of that quality, they've got they had a decent side. If you've got players twiddling the thumbs at home, not able to play because of some of the rulings, it's a little bit upsetting. They're going to have to go to Spain, aren't they, and get some football time there?
Yeah, there was a lot of people before the season started who had Angels as the dark horses of the league, and they started so well. They looked very dominant, but I think that on the last few weeks before the winter break, things kind of looked down. weren't doing too well, and then bang! All of a sudden, license revoked, and they've left. I don't know, let's say 15 to 18 players without a club.
But I'm just looking at that second division now, and it's looking tasty, isn't it, this season? Because you've got 4, possibly 5 clubs in there, all with a fighting chance of getting promotion.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just I can't. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Which is the way you want it, Adam. Which is the way you want it, because it makes good for the neutral.
Yeah, of course. You look how the Premier's turned out with Lincoln just kind of looking like they're going to run away with it. We needed something to add a little spice into Gib football, and Angel, the license with Angels, and I think there was a rule in the GFA where the points were able to stay if Angels had completed a full round of fixtures, and Angels were only one game away from completing the whole round. So all their points have been taken off, and that's left obviously some teams unhappy. You look at Cannons; I think they were top before this happened, and when Angels got their license revoked and the points were all taken away, they dropped down to fifth.
Yeah.
So obviously they weren't happy. I think Boca were as well, and Europa Point put in a complaint as well. But obviously it was never going to be changed.
No. And of course, you look at Magpies. We always chat about Magpies from time to time. I see that they've signed a player who I know quite a bit about, which is Connor Goal from the UK.
Yeah, I don't know much about their players. I know you've been keeping tabs on a few of them, but I think I saw them. When did I watch them? I watched them one game, and they looked good. But I think their goalkeeper he's doing very well at the moment, and as well they've got a winger, Tariq or something like that. I don't know their players off by heart just yet. You give me a few weeks and I'll be able to.
But I know that Dave's been looking back at the UK. I know he's got a couple of people keeping eyes on players up in Scotland and a few other places, and it seems he likes to bring these English lads in to bolster his squad.
Yeah, they have a different discipline to what you're used to here. I've always said that discipline-wise, the UK players are on a different. Maybe technically, I've seen in Premier not a lot of them make it up. A lot of them just stick around in the second division. I know 2 players tried to make their way up into Premier, but they never got a game. So I think discipline-wise, they're very good, but quality, I haven't seen much from the English to be able to get a good run in the Premier.
Yeah. I think what it is about the English guys is, as you say, the quality is there with the locals. Technical ability is very good indeed, but it's that physical presence in it. It's that having that robustness that you need in the English league. I was chatting to Richie a few weeks ago, who's just recently signed for Darlington, young lad who is up in Teesside at university. Richie Parrell. I've got the interview on the Twitter page. And he was saying he's signed for Darlington, and he said the physical aspect of playing in the UK is it's much stronger. Yeah,
in Gib it's all technical ability. Everyone likes those quick feet passes and quick feet movement. While in UK, I'm sure you don't really see that much in the Premier League and stuff like that, where you try and do this fancy stuff and you're gonna get
clobbered.
Head. But I think the things wrong with Premier is there's no English coaches coming into the game. When you look at the majority of managers they bring in, it's all Uruguayan. So again, he brings over players he knows from South America, and the Spanish coaches and I don't know what else. Mainly it's all Spanish. So again, the Spanish managers are going to bring in Spanish players that they know. They're not going to be bringing. They're not going to go to the UK because that's not how it works, and that's the problem. I think a lot of them find where they're just not the manager's choice. So obviously they're not going to be playing.
But as you say, you haven't got that variation. You haven't got that variety, have you? With the UK managers who bring in kind of strong, robust formations.
No, I love to see it. You just look at the ones that play for Magpies. You look at some of them that have come over the last few seasons, and there's a good quality there. But again, the language barrier. If you come over only knowing English, and if you go into a team that's full of Spanish players, it's just going to make life difficult because you're not going to have a clue what they're saying.
Certainly is. Well, moving on to the First Division, just running through it a little bit, and Red Imps, as we expected, hit the ground running again after Christmas. So juggernaut that can't be stopped.
Yeah, I think the only time I've seen them second best is when they when they drew against Europa, and again that was one game that I don't think I've ever seen such poor refereeing in my life. I mean, I made a comment of it on Twitter, and
yeah,
I don't really like saying stuff about the referees because I know they come under a lot of scrutiny. I think everyone puts them in a poor regard. I think you could say the word I'm looking for is,
yeah,
where if you speak to any player in Gibraltar right now and you speak to the fans, they're all going to tell you the same, that the standard of refereeing is not what it should be. And what can you say? You can't disagree at times. The referees don't do themselves any favors. There's a lot. The problem, I think, with the referees is just inconsistency.
The thing is though, Adam, just to interrupt you there a little bit. We've mentioned it quite a few times about the referees on the rock, but how can you improve it? We haven't got a magic ball here or a magic wand to be able to change it overnight. What do you think needs to be implemented in order to create a better standard of refereeing on the rock?
I think again, people complain, but I don't have an answer for that.
Nobody seems to have a solution to it.
Everyone just says, "Well, referees aren't good enough. Referees aren't good enough." But no one kind of ends it with, "They should be doing this." I don't know if it's the way that they're taught, which is the reason for them being so bad. Because personally, if we had, I don't know how many referees there are, but if we had about 20 referees like Tim Rioch, for me personally, he's the best. He's the best referee by a country mile. If we had 20 Tim Riochs, we wouldn't have a problem.
But what does Tim bring to the party that no one else does?
He's just different to everyone else. I don't know. You look at all the referees and they're just all the same. So whose fault is that? While Tim is just different. Tim talks to the players. He almost looks at the game through a player's point of view.
Yeah. And
I think that's the difference between him and the rest. Because I'm going to put one example. I couldn't believe it, and for the next few days I still couldn't believe it. Where we were going back to Europa Lincoln. I think one of the players gets the ball inside the box. One of the Europa players, he hits it, and it hits. We're still unsure. I think about 90% of people say it hit Joseph on the head, but the referee gave it as a handball. So if Joseph Chupolin is stopping a goal-scoring opportunity, which he was, because I think their keeper was on the floor.
Yeah.
It gives a penalty for a handball.
Right.
Surely that's a red card, or am I can't understand. I don't know if that's maybe he got scared of the moment because it was Lincoln, or because of the situation it was Europa Lincoln. There's a lot riding on that game. I honestly don't know, but if he gives it for a handball,
yeah,
surely that's a red card.
Yeah,
but no, he gave a yellow card. How is that possible? I'm still waiting for someone to say how you can justify something like that. Because you can't.
Well, it's not, is it? Because you unfortunately in that situation, if it's a goal scoring opportunity, and he's saved the ball supposedly with his hand on the line, then you can't have one without the other. It's an automatic red.
But he gave it as a yellow card, and then apparently
if it's not a goal scorer, if
he made a mistake.
Well, it'd be great to see some of these referee reports.
And do they get punished? Do the referees get punished if they have bad games? I don't know. I don't know if they don't get punished because there's not enough of them, or the way they get punished is different. I don't know. But it's no good. It's no good coming out a few days later and saying, "Yeah, I put my hand up. Yeah, it was a poor call. And it was my mistake. It should have been a red." That's. You can't change time and be like, okay, we'll change his card to a red now, seeing as you've admitted it.
And the thing is,
you can't do stuff like that.
And the thing is as well, Adam, as you know, because the league is getting better day by day, and there's money at stake, and people are getting paid wages, and European spots are on the table as well. Then of course there should be more accountability and ownership, and for the referees.
Yeah,
but but the referees are amateurs, where some of the footballers are professionals.
Yeah,
so,
I think obviously they got to catch up with everyone as well.
So it's it's still quite much going through a learning process at the moment. Everything to do with rock football. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people up there just feel that everything's progressing, and the referees just need to almost hurry up the process a bit more and catch up with everyone else.
Yeah, but looking at the league table, Red Imps played 13, won 12, drawn 1, lost none. 37 points on the board. Europa just behind them. Well, I say just behind them. Quite a long way behind them. 11 points difference at the moment. And then Gib United and St Joseph's, where you would expect them at this time of the season.
Yeah, I think it's a good battle. That I don't know if you were aware, but after the game, after Gibraltar United beat St Joseph's, there was a mass confrontation, I think you could say, where it got from the pitch and transcended all the way to the change rooms, where there's a lot of there's an investigation at the moment into racist comments being made by some of the St Joseph's players, and as well I think maybe assault is kind of a bit of a heavy term to use, where I think one of the delegates from Gibraltar United were pushed and kicked.
Right.
Again, it's an investigation, and I know the statements being made left, right, and centre. But right now, I think it's just a waiting game, and you shouldn't see stuff in that. You shouldn't see stuff like that in football. But again,
Certainly
it's not. It's the same few players. I don't know if I'm probably going a bit over the top here, but from the racist movements I've seen from in the game so far is from Spanish players. I don't hear anything of us being racist to any others, or we see the Argentinians who come over. You don't see that. It's just Spanish players, and I don't know if Spanish are. I don't know if that's acceptable in the Spanish game, or if they joke about stuff like that.
Well, you wouldn't expect that from Gibraltar players, would you? Because just look at the geographic of Gibraltar. You're the most multicultural race on the planet. Everyone lives on top of one another on the rock, and everyone gets on. So you wouldn't expect that from Gibraltar players, would you?
And I feel quite sorry for Bayo, the man who's in question, because it's the second time this season he's been the subject of racist comments, and on both occasions it's from Spanish players. Yeah. So I don't quite know hopefully if they've got a problem, but again, hopefully that gets looked at soon, and the GFA can start handing out some heavy punishments which needed.
Definitely, even if they have to make an example of somebody, just to hopefully get the message across that it won't be tolerated.
No, so we'll be keeping an eye out and see what the GFA say in the next few weeks. Yeah.
Just briefly, I want to catch up on the under-16s. I did mention them at the top of the show. They just returned from the internationals. They've had a couple of games against Malta, who were the host, and Liechtenstein. Not been the best, but it's all about experience, isn't it, at this level?
Yeah, the under-16s, I guess, need it more than whenever. They're not really used to, I don't know, the level up, under-16 level. But I think they need more games like this. They need to get the experience for when they move up, because I think as the youth levels go up, I think the class, like the level goes up. You look at the players playing under 19 and under 21 and under 17, and they're all playing for your big clubs around Europe.
Yeah.
And I think they need to. I think it's good that they won the last game. I think that's very, very good on them. I think Lincoln striker Craig Galliano, he scored the penalty, and they managed to win on a penalty shootout, which was great. I think I read somewhere that the Gibraltar United, sorry, bloody hell, man. It's been a while, and mistake after mistake.
Keep going. This is live, sir. This is live. Put your teeth back in.
Yeah, man. I'm really struggling. It's been so while. I'm struggling, man. The Gibraltar goalkeeper. Sorry, I was going to get there, but he apparently saved 4 penalties, which is I don't think you really expected anything like that.
No,
you get a goalkeeper at such a young age making four penalty saves in a shootout. Good on him. So
yeah,
hopefully they can all carry on, improve, and it'll be good to see some of those players making their way into the second division. Because to be totally honest with you, I don't see. I wouldn't want any of them playing reserve football.
No, certainly not. And just looking to the end of March, I'm hoping to get across. Touch wood as I'm sat here, hoping to get across for the internationals. Under 21s up against Serbia and Russia, which will be a bit of a tough test. And then the full international on the Sunday with our main lads playing Latvia. Great to be back at Victoria Stadium. Yeah,
and I'm hoping the GFA make I've been hearing they're going to put out like a B or C team. Maybe the players who didn't really get a chance in during the Euros or the World Cup qualifiers, they'll be given a chance. And now with Jeff Wood taking up a different role, let's see how Desi does in his first game. Yeah, brilliant.
I know that Adam Priestley, a player I've been watching quite a bit of, I wonder if he's going to get a call back to maybe stake a claim for a shirt.
Yeah, and Scott Wiseman as well. He's moved on loan to a league above him, which you don't really see much of. So if we don't see Scott Wiseman in the team in March, then I honestly don't know what's going on.
But it'd be interesting, and it's an opportunity not just for the new manager to have a look at the players, but also for fans to be able to come and watch their national teams at Victoria Stadium, where it belongs.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be looking forward to it. And just to let everyone know, tickets for the under-21s are £5. And the main game, obviously the seniors, is £10. So to keep an eye out on Football Gibraltar, we're going to be doing some giveaways. So
brilliant. Well, I've been trying to tap up Stephen Gonzalez for a couple of freebies. But if he don't give me them, you can get me some, yeah.
Yeah, see what we can do.
But it should be a fantastic weekend of football on the Rock. Just very quickly, the quarter-finals for the Gib Telecom Rock Cup have been announced as well. Some good draws there.
Yeah, I think Olympic are going to be quite happy with theirs. I know there's a few boys in that team that are ex-Gib United, so they'll be looking to do.
It'll be a test
over on their old side, while you got Lincoln and Cannons. That's that's a good one for Cannons. They're a very strong side in second division. But
it is.
I think it's one step too far when.
I think the longer they can stay, that kind of game. When you look at that kind of game, the longer that the lower team can stay in the game, then the more frustrated the top side become, and there could be opportunities. But you'd always expect. Lincoln to come through that one, won't you?
Yeah, of course. You look at the last year's Rock Cup, when you got Lincoln and Hound Dogs. Lincoln played more or less a full-strength team, so I don't think we expect them to give any leeway to Cannons when they play.
No. And the other games in the quarter-finals, Adam?
Europa Phoenix, which is going to be. I think it's going to be a very good game. Phoenix done very well in the January, and they've looked a very good squad so far. I think they brought in what the hell? Wait, my phone's just gone off.
All right.
Sorry. Bloody hell, my phone went off for no reason. They've brought in Jason Pusey on a loan from Lincoln. He's getting some much needed game time, as obviously he want to put his name in the mix for the friendlies. And then last but not least, you've got Monscalpa St. Joseph's, which again we expect to be another great game, looking at how Monscalpa have strengthened as well. So it's going to be a good draw.
Definitely is, and look forward to it as well. Just briefly before we call it a day on this first one back after Christmas. looking at some of the fixtures coming up in the next 7 days, we'll start with the First Division. It's game tomorrow, I believe, Manchester versus Lincoln. Big game tomorrow night.
Yeah. I think again, that's one-way traffic.
Yeah. But I was
Manchester put up a good fight against Monscalpe. I think they'd be quite disappointed not to have got something for that game. But again, I think them against Lincoln is just going to be one way.
Yeah. St Joseph's Lions. How do you see that one going?
It's going to be tough. I think we're not going to be expecting some big score lines in that. You look at how Lions were against Gibraltar United, and they were very defensive. They didn't look like they were looking to get a win from that game, and I think they'll be doing the same against St Joseph's. I think St Joseph's will probably have a lot of the ball and probably create a few more chances than them, but I don't know. I probably see that as a 0-0 or a 1-1.
And then Saturday evening, another one, 8:30 kick-off, Europa versus Phoenix.
Again, like we just said, that's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that one.
And Glasses United versus Lynx, which I believe is a game. They're actually playing tonight, and then they're playing again on Monday.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't really know why that's the case, but again, I think whoever wins today is going to win on Monday. You would expect, if you would told me before the winter break, I think I would have had Glassies winning that game. But they've been very poor since coming back, and they look half the side that picked up some good performances. Yeah,
I know that saying as you say that, I was looking at some of their results, and as you can see, they struggle to score goals, but they're also letting in a few more than they were before Christmas.
Yeah, when you look at when you see the Glassy side, they've always been defensively. They've been always very good, but their captain got injured, and they've been playing centre mids and wingers at centre back, and I think it hasn't really worked out very well for them over the last few games. But I think everyone's more or less match fit now. We saw that against Europa, and Europa had to come from behind to snatch a win.
Yeah, just picking up on some of the fixtures coming up in the next 7 days in the second division. Just looking at the one on Sunday, should be a good game. Boca versus Cannons. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think Boca are going to be wanting a much better performance. I spoke to a few boys from the Olympic team, and I don't think they expected it to be as easy as it was. You look at the first half of the season, and Boca for a lot of that game were dominant in more or less every game, controlling midfield which you need to win a game. But I don't know, against Olympic they didn't look like they had a clue, and hopefully against Cannons they're going to be needing something else, because they're a very good side as well. Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's wrapped it up for the first one back after the Christmas break. What have you got planned this week? Plenty of football?
More football. More and more football.
And every night in the next 7 days you're down there at Victoria Stadium?
Yeah, myself and Daniel will be there bringing you live action from the game. So follow us on social media and to find out.
Yeah, well, from the second best platform for Jub football, second best, not the first, the second best. It's good night from me, and it's good night from him. I'll see you next week, buddy.
See you next week, mate.
Embracing the football scene on the Rock of Gibraltar with Adam Roberts and Steve Brown.